What's going on, everybody? And we are logging on to episode 184 of the podcast. We have a very special episode for you guys tonight because it is our final spotlight interview before we close up shop. As you guys know that have followed the channel, spotlight interviews are interviewing creators like my friend myself that I'm about to introduce in just a second, but musicians, artists, filmmakers, and people with local businesses as well. I interview them all because I'm very intrigued by them. Speaking of intriguing, this might be my favorite one of all time, and I'm saving the best for last here because he's a fellow filmmaker, and I want to present you to him right now. Joseph Tobon, thank you for being here, buddy.
How you guys doing? Thank you so much for having me, Frank. It's real fun to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Glad to hear. So like I somewhat introduced, obviously not in depth, I would like you to take the stage for a sec and basically tell the crowd, like, what do you do for work and everything like that, and maybe what your main field in that sort of work is.
All right, so right now I'm a freelance video editor. I work with a content creator on YouTube. He's trying to expand his audience a bit. He's got a little bit of a Twitch following, wants to get it bigger, so a friend of mine reached out to me and said, hey, you've worked with this other content creator in the past, why don't you work with my friend? I know you're looking for work.
Yes.
So he reached out to me and he said, okay, take my streams and sort of turn them into shorts. And,
yes.
You know, vertical format, TikTok Reels, Facebook Reels, all that sort of stuff starting to take off. And we have seen some moderate success. He's jumped from, I think, 11 to 85 subscribers in the last almost 6 months.
Beautiful.
So his channel is getting a little bit of traction.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. That's honestly where I get a lot of my creativity out. Most of what I do now, my specialty on set is the digital imaging technician. So I'm the guy who, when they call, that's a wrap for the day, I back up all the camera footage, back up all the sound cards, and then I just basically make sure, hey, does it exist in 2 or more places?
Right.
And then I deliver one of those to the editor, and the other one goes to one of the producers as a fail-safe in case that other drive has any sort of issues or the videos are corrupt. But it's my job to duplicate all that,
okay,
and make sure that it's all still working. And I've done that for 3 feature-length films now.
Beautiful.
1 short film, and it's a little bit of a niche. Most people just have the second assistant camera do it, but I've actually had to get called back because of one of my friends. She was shooting her capstone project for college.
Okay.
And their second assistant camera did something, and all their stuff was missing. So they had to reshoot everything. It was a long weekend. We did 4 days. It was really good. We ended up getting the whole thing redone in 4 days.
Very good.
It's a short, so usually you estimate 3 to 4 days is all you need.
Sure.
But she called me up and said, hey, I know you've done this before. Do you want to help me out? We had an issue. So as opposed to having somebody sort of doing double duty, my sole job was make sure it's all here, make sure it's all working, and duplicate it just as a fail-safe.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, that's really the specialty that I have on set. If I had to give one thing, I've done production assistants, I've done grip, gaff, assistant camera. I've done all the positions, but I think DIT is my specialty.
Sure.
And that's what I promote the most on my website and whenever I'm networking with other filmmakers and other things of that nature.
Beautiful. And what a long way you came, man, because I remember, dude, I'll tell you what, good for you, by the way. Kudos to you for diving into this field and everything like that. I remember one of the only, because to be transparent with the crowd here, like, I knew of you in high school and everything that.
We had an English class together.
We had senior year English class together, and both of us had the best projects there that time. I'll always remember you for that. And the seat, like the special effects you had going on with the Star Wars jets flying and everything.
Half of those are like phone apps where it's like, here, add a gun flare. So like I just found the phone app where it's like, okay, record this and then maybe 2 frames of a gunshot.
Yes,
like, that was
right.
It was 2013. That was like the most technology we had at the time.
Oh, 100%. But it was still, it was incredible to see that at that time, you know what I mean? And that was a great project. I hope I had Miss English on the podcast last year.
Really? I gotta go back and watch that.
Oh, yeah. We talked about it a lot, and she still does that, same project,
That's
awesome. Like rolls out the red carpet and everything like that. And she says all the students still love it just as much. It brings out the creative juices in them. And I'll tell you what, that was one of my big inspirations too, to like keep on going with this and everything like that too.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Whole thing, the experience of it, right? But it's great. It's great what you're doing now. As far as inspirations, right? Inspirations as far as diving into this field, maybe the love for movies, just production, video production in general. List a few of those if you don't mind.
So And that's, for those who don't know, I served in the Navy for 5 years, from 2015 to 2020.
Thank you for your service. I did not know that.
Really?
I did not know
swear
that.
I bought that up at the reunion.
Yeah, some things were a blur. Sorry about that.
Honestly, like, I remember like bits and pieces of it too. You're not alone.
Okay.
But yeah, so I was in the Navy for 5 years, and I was on the Ford while it was being built, so it was a lot of just in and out testing. We didn't really go anywhere per se. It was go out, break the ship, bring it back, fix all the equipment, go back out again.
Okay.
And one of the things we did for pastimes was watch a lot of movies and TV shows. So on our downtime, it was just a lot of like, all right, let's get a bunch of people together and watch Hereditary, because none of us had seen it yet.
Yeah.
That was a fun experience.
Yes.
So
great movie too.
Oh, fantastic movie.
Yes.
I love that one. And we watched it. I remember we were on duty, which means you can't leave the ship for 24 hours.
Okay.
And it was 8 o'clock at night when we decided to start it. So you can imagine as the movie progresses, it's getting darker and colder out. It's a mess, but it was a great time.
Yes.
So that is probably one of the biggest inspirations, is remembering those times I had with friends, and because they knew that I was a creative. They knew that I would mess with video editing and that I would like to take out my camera, always be the guy where it's like, hey, if we need a picture taken, hand it to Tobon.
Yeah.
That was always me.
Right.
And I remember when Endgame came out,
ooh, yeah.
we all saw it. I remember I dressed up for it. I dressed as Doctor Strange. My friends and all went. It was
good
a
for
good time.
you, yeah.
And after the movie, one of my friends, were all talking in the parking lot. He's like, Tobon, I want to see your name in those credits someday. And honestly, that was kind of a big inspiration to be like, I want people that I knew on that ship to be watching the credits for any movie, really.
Yeah, a nice motivational push.
Yeah, and just, they'll be watching the credits and just, I think I know that.
Yeah, wait a minute.
They'll look it up real quick and see my face next to it. Like, I want them to know that I'm still thinking of them, because every time I'm on set, I think of Endgame. I think of all those nights we were out to sea and just watching different movies together and different shows together, and us just kind of having a collective bonding experience with those movies.
Absolutely. Well said. That's a great reason why to do this and everything like that. I'm on a similar boat as far as that sense. I'm not too deep into the production side of it as you are, but I'll tell you what, I love making memories. I love capturing memories. Those are two very important things. Anything to look back on with friends, family, people you care about, and everything like that is so important to me. And I found the way to do that is by doing creative like skits and podcasts and like these vlogs, doing like contests, fun contests and stuff like that.
We actually had on my capstone project, I did a short dramatic like comedy. Was it dramedy? I think that's the term.
Dramedy, yes.
Romantic dramedy. It's about a guy who gets into a relationship, and every time he overthinks a situation with the girl that he's with, he gets these Scrubs-like Family Guy cutaways of what he thinks is going to happen.
Yeah.
And he makes his choices based on those thoughts, not on reality.
Okay.
So it's a little bit about mental health, but one of the things I wanted with that project was a behind-the-scenes photographer, because like you said, I like to create the memories. I want to have those moments to look back on, and on my phone and on my computer, I still have like shots of my friends and my crew members setting up their stuff, us all laughing together, us, like me interacting with the directors, or with the other actors, we interacting with the other crew members, and it's just, I look at those pictures and think, that was a great time. As
Absolutely.
stressful as it was just such a good time to have that experience with everyone.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
The stress factor as far as this industry is in general, right? Like, we could definitely get into as far as being on set and the pressures of that. But even before that, like, we both know this is one of the toughest industries to get into,
100%.
to find work for, even when you are into it and everything like that. What, like you said, like, for instance, you said one of your pushes was to let the others know that I am thinking of them about this stuff and everything like that.
Right.
But what would you say is another one of your big motivational pushes that maybe you didn't get a gig, but you keep on going?
Honestly, it's just me getting my name out there.
Yeah.
Because my inbox is full of just, hey, this position has been filled, or the application has been rescinded because we're not going to use that position anymore.
Sure.
Or sometimes they hire internally. A lot of crews, I know that New Jersey has a lot of good tax credits for filmmakers.
Yeah.
And a lot of times those crews, they'll bring their crews with them. So even finding work as a PA or an on-set person, unless you're a background actor, can be stressful, and honestly is starting to feel... It feels like a never-ending battle sort of thing, but you just have to keep pushing, and that's one of the reasons why I still do the freelance. That's another reason why I freelance, is another way for me, one, to get the creative out there, but two, people will say, hey, even though this person isn't actively on set, he's still finding work. This person is still...
He's credible, experienced.
Exactly.
Yes.
Even, what was it? I actually worked on a project recently with a couple exchange students from New York Film Academy. That's where I went after after I left the Navy.
Yes.
And they had a contest where it's like, hey, we're entering this film festival where it has to be written by AI, but everything else we can sort of take the reins on.
Right.
So we did produce a film that was written entirely by AI. We did touch it up a little bit because it's not perfect yet.
Yeah.
But they said, hey, it's unpaid, but do you want to edit this? And I'm like, absolutely. I want to edit longer form stuff. Well, editing for YouTube is fun, and editing Twitch content is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You're sort of limited to, okay, what's memey, what's trendy, what's
Without
getting
a
these
doubt.
videos, so what's getting the SEO popping.
Yep.
I can have a little bit more of a, okay, I can play with the color a bit, because the color, like, you know that BS in high school where it's like, oh, the curtains were blue in the book, that represents depression?
Right.
That's sort of, there is a grain of truth to that in film. Every color represents something else. Like, you'll see a character wearing one color for most of the movie, and if they turn to a, let's say, darker side, for lack of a better term,
Yeah.
they'll start wearing more black. They'll start sort of hiding in the shadows a bit more. So there is some of that truth in film. I mean, granted, probably true in the book too, but you see it more. It's more obvious when you're watching it on screen, and that's where I sort of, okay, this character's very secluded. This character relies too much on AI, so I'm going to give it that sort of blue hue that screens give off. So, like, in the highlights of the scene, they're going to be slightly bluer than the rest of it. Little details like that I get to play with.
Yeah.
And just keep doing work like that. I actually got a friend of mine, that same friend who reached out about that project, said, hey, I have a script that's almost done. Do you want to edit this one? And I said, absolutely. You know me. Unless I'm actively on set, I will always answer the phone when you call me.
Absolutely. And that's a great, like, loyal coworker, companion, like, to have. 1,000%. Yeah, that's great. So let's talk about the pressures on set now. So everything's a time constraint. Let's start off with that.
100%.
And why is that? Because it's probably because of money for the most part. Time is money, right?
Oh, yeah.
So have you had instances, let's just say there was just one too many takes for maybe a scene, or something technical has gone wrong, or something like that, where you had to manage and weave your way to a solution?
Yeah.
Yes.
I certainly have a story for that.
Sure,
So on
go
the
ahead.
same project with the behind-the-scenes photos that I mentioned.
Yeah.
The scene, it takes place outdoors. It's the three friends talking to the main character through his bedroom window. That's the scene. And my directing teacher always said, the more you can spend money on a project, I recommend you spend the money more toward locations, because then you have more control of X factors, like people walking through the scene, external sounds, dogs barking, things of that nature.
Absolutely. That's
Granted,
smart.
if you're shooting in a public park, kind of subject to the whims of the park, which thankfully we didn't have, but I think all of our bad karma was used up on this particular night.
Okay.
Because the neighbors, it was a Friday night, Friday, or I think it was Friday night. Yeah, we did the scene on Friday, I remember, where the neighbors were having a party.
Yeah.
Like loud music, everyone shouting, the whole shebang. Yeah. And we had to shoot dialogue outside. And granted, we tried our best to sort of time it with when the party was starting to die down, like in between music tracks. Like, we tried our best to sort of get it done.
Yeah.
But we really couldn't do it. So I said, you know what? We're going to shoot it as it is. I'm going to talk with the actors after the fact, and I'm going to have them just ADR the scene. So kind of similar to what you have here.
Right.
I had a mic inside of a small soundproof box, and I just had them listen to the takes that I chose a couple of times so that they could recreate it. And I effectively had to make the entire soundscape from scratch. So I had to add in the background noise of nighttime, like a car going by in the distance, even like crickets, like something just to give
more atmosphere to it, right?
More atmosphere.
Yeah.
And one of the things our directing teacher explained to us, and even our sound teachers, you can forgive bad acting, you can forgive bad lighting, you can forgive bad camera work, but the audience will always know when it's bad sound every single time.
Very true.
So that was something I'm like, oh shit, like I gotta lock in a little bit.
Yes.
And editing is my stronger suit. As much fun as I have directing, as interesting as it is to talk to the actors and sort of explain what you're looking for without just saying act sad or act angry.
Right.
It was such just a fascinating experience to be like, okay, I need to build this from scratch. Effectively, like, even though what's funny is, we'll get to AI in a bit.
Yeah.
But there are some AI tools that work, one of them being vocal isolation. So it can sort of remove those background sounds, but suzz and tuzz and puzz, those sounds can sort of get lost in that mix. So for a temporary rough cut, I use that to, like, you know, present to my teacher and say, okay, this is our progress with the film. Do you think it's working narratively? And then he said, are you going to work on the sound? Then I explained kind of what I did here, where I have the actors coming in. I had them come in over the course of a weekend. We re-recorded all the lines. I rebuilt the soundscape. When you watch the film, you can't even tell.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm sure that was a lot of work, but one, I'm sure you enjoyed the hell out of it.
Oh, 100%.
But you basically saved that scene, maybe the whole film in that, for that matter, too, depending on how important that scene could have been,
it's
right?
Pretty rough. It was a pretty important scene, I would argue.
Yeah,
so,
there you go. Absolutely. So it's almost like having that title, that the trust in doing something like that to making sure it sounds that good and everything like that. It means a lot. It means a lot.
Everyone does look to you, because when something goes wrong on the set, they either look to the first assistant director, because they more or less run things while I'm offside with the actor, saying, okay, this is the scene that's coming up. Let's sort of rehash it a couple of times.
Yeah.
So everyone always looks to us, say, okay, what the hell do we do?
Yes.
And thankfully, I'm like, you know what? It's going to be a pain, but ADR, I think, is the way to go. And the actors were real cool about it. They're like, look, we get it. These things happen.
Yeah.
And that was another fun thing, is that the actors I picked, because they all had to be, a group of friends that knew each other for a long time, they had to have natural chemistry. And I remember the first time I had us all meet up, my concern was, if someone doesn't click, or if this doesn't click right, I almost have to restart this casting process, and I'm sort of running out of time.
Yeah.
But thankfully, everyone was real cool with each other. We all got along real well, and it came across on screen, which I'm very proud of.
Very, very good. Very good. I'm happy to hear that, too. It must be a very satisfying feeling, even if it's just a small part you're working on, to directing the whole thing, seeing something come together, the audience receives it well and everything like that, and enjoys it, and you get great feedback from it too. You know what I mean? All those must be great feelings. Even constructive feedback as well must be great as well. It's all a learning experience in a sense.
Something I've learned is you need to, as long as you're. Hold on 1 second. Let me just.
Yeah.
Yep, almost there.
Oh, you're good.
Every set is a new experience. You always learn something to take away from the next one. So it's like, okay, this happened on this set. How do I prevent it on the next one? Like the last set I was a part of, we shot back in August. I was doing data management. And one of the things I had to do was I needed to upload proxies to the post house.
Okay.
Because we weren't in New Jersey. They weren't in New Jersey. I couldn't just do what I did before, which is drop a hard drive at the post house and leave.
Right.
And the hotel Wi-Fi was not substantial. To give you an idea, we're filming about at least 3 to 4 terabytes of footage a day.
Wow.
And even the proxies, as small as they are, they take a while to upload. It would have taken all night to get one of the 2 camera cards uploaded.
For sure.
So I literally said, you know what, the hell with it. I got in my car. I went back to Staten Island, where I knew the internet was good.
Yes.
And I uploaded it right there, drove back. And I remember the producer comes up to me 3 days later. He's like, hey, how's the Wi-Fi going? It's like, oh, the Wi-Fi's terrible. What do you mean? All the proxies are up. And then I told him what happened. He goes, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you tell me? And I said, I didn't tell you because there wasn't a problem. I saw a problem. I fixed it. There's no problem.
Right.
anymore.
Yes. Exactly. You did the work.
So now I'm thinking, all right, if we're going to be in a remote location, I need to look into, okay, does Starlink offer a monthly package? Like, this is something I'd have to discuss with production beforehand.
Yes.
Because I've also had other hardware fail where I'd be transferring something to a small drive. So for context, I would usually get a small 4 terabyte drive for the day, and then take that day's content, move it to like a 24 terabyte hard drive.
Sure.
Because that's going to encompass everything.
Yes.
And I've had 4 terabyte drives on me burn out before, because if they're used for too long, or if they're being written, or if it's being
rewritten
or written too fast,
it
will physically just stop working.
Yeah.
So I've learned, okay, if someone's on a budget, recommend the following. If someone has a little bit more money to spend, recommend these hard drives.
Yes.
So I sort of learned the hardware side of it. I'm learning a bit about the internet infrastructure.
Yeah.
And every set I've been a part of so far, I've made sure to take something new away and just apply it to the next one so that it goes a little bit smoother.
Okay. As far as well, I know we're jumping around a little bit, but I'm just spitting out like just what comes up to my head right now. Yeah, we'll fix it in post. Exactly.
You can possibly say on a set, but sure.
Yes, very true. You said you worked on 2 like feature films before, correct?
They were independent.
Independent.
Films,
that's what I meant
to
say.
Feature length, so 90 minutes and up. So
yes, right.
I'm not working for Netflix yet, despite the new studio coming.
Right, we could talk about that too.
Still trying to get my foot in the door on that.
Yeah, I would love to. Also, that. We'll get into that as well.
There, yeah.
But as far as the directing aspect of those, were those films, those feature-length films, ones that you directed?
No.
They were not. Okay.
The only feature films I've been a part of where I've been in charge of data management.
Okay, gotcha.
No, I've written a feature-length script, but I'm not in a place professionally where I can handle something of that caliber.
Sure.
But I also haven't really had an opportunity to direct a lot of shorts, but I've learned, okay, as much as I want to do this, data management's my strong suit, editing's my strong suit, right now, let me focus on those areas, and then I'll work on those other aspects of directing as things happen. So it's like,
Absolutely.
okay, hey, we need an assistant director, which doesn't really do much in terms of telling the actors what to do, but you still get an idea of what it's like to be in the hot seat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%.
Like, the assistant director runs the set. They keep you on schedule. They make sure everything's moving in the right direction. I've had the pleasure of working with 2 amazing assistant directors on this last project. They kept everything tight, and there were times where they got a little loud, but I worked on a flight deck. I'm used to being loud.
There you go.
So
right.
That didn't bother me as much. But people are like, "Why is she yelling?" It's like, she's just trying to get your attention. That's not yelling yet.
Yeah.
That's not even close to yelling.
Just wait till you see what yelling is.
Like, look, Natalie is a wonderful person. I do not want to know what she's like when she gets to that point.
Right.
She's
right.
very loud, which you need on set, but
Of course.
I do not want to see her angry. And I'm praying if she's angry, it's not because.
Yes. Yeah. Right. Okay, very cool. And that also brings up to the point that you said before, is like every set is a learning experience as well. I'm sure if you're looking out as far as like wanting to direct something in the future, you're looking to see how that director on that set like works things and everything like that. It's all about the experience, learning the experience with it.
Right.
Yeah, let's get into school. So what school did you say you go to that you graduated to?
I went to New York Film Academy.
New York Film
which
Academy.
Was a 3-year program. It was 3 years to a bachelor's, but you didn't get summers off. That was the thing. So it was just 3 straight years of just classes.
Yes.
And because it was a specialty school, most of your curriculum was more based around the creative side, and then you, of course, had to do your gen ed classes for the degree.
Okay, right.
Whereas other schools, it's inverted, where some of your classes are the creative, and then the rest are gen ed. This is flipped.
Okay, interesting. And how was that? What was that experience like? Did you live in like the city during that time?
No. So my grandparents live on Staten Island. They live by the train there, and New York Film Academy's campus in Manhattan. Their campus is in Battery Park. So I would get off the ferry, and then it's a 5-minute walk, and I'm right there.
So that was a nice commute for you as well.
It was a very nice commute, yes.
Okay, very nice. And the 3 straight years, including the summers, was that like an easy like transition for you to do as far as scheduling wise?
Well, so it was funny. Because I was in the Navy during COVID. At the start, it was very interesting. So during COVID, it became... So normally when you're in port, the Navy's more or less a 9 to 5 unless you have duty. If you have duty, you're on the ship for 24 hours, you can't leave.
Sure, okay.
So during COVID, it became, okay, for social distancing and safety, you only have to come in on your duty days. You don't have to come in the other 5 days of the week. So we were 6-section duty, so I only have to come in once every 6 days.
Gotcha.
So honestly, it was kind of a relief to be back around people, even though a majority of basically the only class we had at the start that was in person specifically was our cinematography class, because you need to get your hands on the camera.
Yes, right.
You can do directing over Zoom. You can do writing over Zoom. You can do editing over Zoom. And we'll get into that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But you had to have your hands on a camera for cinematography. That's not as easy to teach over Zoom. It's just, okay, take out your phone and do this.
Right.
There's different cameras, different lighting setups. There's a lot of nuance to every one of these things.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it was honestly a relief to sort of be around people again and socialize.
Yeah.
Versus just like essentially being isolated. Unless we were out to sea, where it became... keep your mask on at all times unless you're asleep, basically.
Right.
And social distance if possible, but you have 3,000 people in a fixed area.
Isolated area.
How many 6 feet can you do before someone's overboard?
Exactly.
Like, it's kind of an issue.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Now let's talk about the whole COVID era, per chance. Okay. So you're learning all this stuff in school during the COVID era for the most part?
April of 21 was when I started school. So
yes, in a sense, right?
Like, sort of when things were starting to get slightly easier.
Yes,
I remember, what was it, January of 22, they started relaxing a lot of the regulations.
Right.
Where you don't necessarily have to have a mask on, but we're not going to stop you if you have one on.
Yeah.
But I remember, that first semester was 90% Zoom. And then I would go in for the cinematography courses and everything else. And then the second semester... they said, okay, we're going to fully open up the campus again so everyone can come to their classes in person, but then we'll practice social distancing if possible, but definitely wear a mask, the vaccine mandates.
Yeah.
All those things were very much in effect, but we were in person again, which made a lot of the interactions and the learning, at least for me, honestly a lot easier, because there's only so much you can do over Zoom.
Without a doubt.
As wonderful as the directing teachers I had were during the first semester where it was over Zoom, when I was in person again, I felt like I got more out of it.
Right.
And I think it's because you can definitely feel the emotion in the room when you're there versus sort of just seeing it on a screen.
Absolutely. It probably, like, the passion of it probably doesn't transition as much, at least, through the screen and whatnot, through a Zoom meeting. So you're learning the craft, like basically while they were learning how to figure out how to teach you guys the tools of the craft, basically.
More or less, yeah.
So that's an interesting aspect of it. And you got to see both worlds of it, being on Zoom and then finally being able to be in person and whatnot.
Right.
Let's talk about AI for a little bit too.
Okay.
Well, let's first start with your overall thought. Like, besides even the film aspect of it, the editing aspect, overall thoughts on AI.
So, like the current, Sora 2, VO3, those
Yes,
sort of things? Okay,
yes.
I have a very interesting take on this.
Okay.
AI content is the McDonald's of filmmaking.
Wow.
You can get something quick, you can get something enjoyable, it's always going to be a little bit better if you put in the effort yourself.
Put the heart and soul into it.
Exactly. Don't get me wrong. I've laughed at some hysterical AI videos.
Believe me, me
too. Physically impossible.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like what was it? I think they had this AI actress. I don't know if you saw articles about that.
Oh, I have seen
and how
articles.
SAG effectively disavowed it immediately, saying this isn't really an actress. This is just an amalgamation of everyone else's talent, sort of shoved into a code.
Yep. Yeah. That's wild.
I feel like AI is going to plateau. It's also already started to inbreed a little bit, where because of how much it needs to intake to keep learning, it's learning from other AI-generated videos, so it still isn't 100%.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So, like, as good as Sora is, and as good at, like, recently I don't know why this became a trend, but there's been a trend on TikTok recently with AI videos where someone opens the door to an animal being on the doorstep, and then the animal just spits out a fire hose level of water out of
Yeah,
it.
I saw one of those today. Yeah.
But one of them caught me off guard because it looked like a glass door in front of a regular door, and when the person inside opened the door, both doors opened inward. So, like, AI doesn't fully understand the differences. Like, there's little things like that you're going to catch to tell you, oh, this isn't real, this is an AI.
Correct, right. It's not entirely perfect by any means necessary.
Not even close.
It's
getting better, but it's still going to be, something's going to be off about it every time you watch it.
Do you think that'll be like a forever thing?
I think that it's here to stay. I feel like the proverbial cat's out of the bag. You can't really put it back.
Yeah.
I think, don't get me wrong, I think for something like establishing shots, we might see more AI-generated stuff, or like a drone shot over the city where I don't want to pay for a license, so I have this $300 a month thing for AI, so I'm just going to generate videos of the Earth being flown over, videos of space, videos of something that kind of looks like New York, because I did mess with it. I've got a month free of VO3.
Okay.
Through your Google account, and it's like, hey, give us your credit card. So I started it, immediately canceled it, so they wouldn't charge me the money that they're going to ask for.
Right.
But it's not awful.
Mm-hmm.
But there are tells where it's like, okay, this isn't New York because the buildings don't just multiply. Like, every building looks slightly different.
Sure.
Sort of thing.
Okay, so that's interesting, but I agree with you at the same time, especially as far as like scenic shots of, like, maybe not a city, but something like space or something like that, where I would say it's okay to use it for like a quick shot or something like that. What I'm not okay with is like instances that you brought up with this fake actress. Yes. Instances like, I mean, another trend on TikTok is like Jake Paul's face is just plastered on like ballerinas and like cheerleaders.
It's a little messy.
It is a little messy. I think AI is going to be something, and maybe already has, where it's all fun and games until someone gets hurt, sort of deal.
That's the thing everyone's kind of banking on. The wrong person's going to get offended by AI, like someone in a position of political power or somebody that's very, very well respected is going to be seen on, let's say, a ring cam or even like body cam footage, because those AI videos, in my opinion, are the hardest to tell if they're fake.
Absolutely.
Because of that distortion, because those videos are inherently always a little fuzzy.
Yes.
So something's going to be caught on the wrong one, and then some sort of regulation is finally going to be pushed.
Yeah.
And that's when it's like, okay, this stops now, at least at this level.
So that's kind of what I'm waiting for, some major regulations to be put into place as far as... And, that was a big thing with the writer's strike, too, that happened recently as well. And, I don't know if they did a great job settling a good deal as far as that, to be honest with you. What do you think?
It's an interesting place to be. I understand. Like, personally, I don't think AI should be used to get rid of the writer's room. I think that there's always going to be a human touch needed in these scripts.
Yeah.
And the idea that these companies are sort of sacrificing these very talented writers for the sake of just saving a couple bucks, it's like I said, it's going to plateau. Eventually the script writing isn't going to be as great. Like, even like I told you about that project we did earlier, the dialogue was terrible.
Right.
I fully admit it. The dialogue in that AI-generated script that we used for that project
Yeah.
was awful, so we actually went in and rewrote some of it, which was allowed.
Well, good for you guys. Yeah, yeah.
But we had to.
You had
it
to.
just sounded awful.
Yeah.
Said, no, this is like no human talks like this. And even, I'm a very literal person when I write, so even in my own scripts, it would take me 3 or 4 times of like, okay, people don't just outwardly state their feelings. Let's start applying layers of subtext, layers of nuance to each line of dialogue, because the audience is never as dumb as you think. The audience can pick up on social cues in film. They can pick up on, reading between the lines in film, and you sort of have to trust the audience to do that. You don't just have to tell them everything. It's
exactly.
Not an anime.
Yeah. Right.
But I think with AI, or with the writer's strike, let's circle back to the writer's strike and the actor's strike too, because that was their thing. Was the actors are going to be sort of people are going to say, oh, we're going to take your likeness and then we're never going to pay you again. And that was actors wanted protection for that, which I fully understand, especially after seeing the Flash movie where they used AI to bring...
And boy, did that look terrible, It
looked awful. As a diehard Flash fan, I am very upset with that movie, and I hope James Gunn can fix it.
Me too.
Rumor is, well, not rumor, but apparently Grant Gustin has been talking to James Gunn, and if that's true, I will be very happy.
I would be very happy too, because I enjoyed that show until maybe its third or fourth season.
Fourth season was where it started to go down.
But Grant Gustin is a perfect Flash.
No, he is 100%.
Yes. Sorry to throw you off there, but
we're good.
yeah. But listen, the whole actors and writer strike thing. I know AI was a big part of it, like I said before. I'm at least glad that they're seeing the concern with it of what could potentially happen.
Yes.
And there should be, I don't want to call it, I think I said it perfect before, the concern of it, not even the fear of it. I don't think AI by any means could replace a writer or actor.
I don't think that we're in fear of our jobs, but I feel that some positions might be affected.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not to a degree of like, okay, we don't need this position anymore, but like on the editing aspect of it, I told you the AI vocal isolation, AI subtitle generation.
Yeah.
There are some things that AI is good for in post, not so much in pre or on set.
But yes, right. I agree. But also like that enhanced AI like tool, it has to be done with a real human, like by that thing's side, like making sure to approve, disapprove, like all stuff like that. So yeah, you're right. I don't think it's really the fear of like losing the job. It just may manipulate how the job works in a sense too.
Yes.
And the other big thing is too with AI, and this is even beyond film and everything like that. Like I am a bit concerned as far as it becoming looking too real. You actually, calmed me down a little bit as far as it like never going to be able to look perfect, and how it kind of laps over, like learning over basically itself or other AI generators.
Right.
Because I just think it's dangerous, man. I think it just could be very dangerous.
It can be dangerous, and thankfully Sora does have the watermark forced onto every video that it generates.
Oh, okay.
So thank God we have that.
Yeah.
But it's only a matter of time before somebody uses some sort of AI tool or even manual masking to remove it.
Yeah.
Or B, which I think is something even worse that no one's thought of yet, and I'm going to regret saying this into a microphone so other people hear it. Leave it in, it's fine.
Okay.
But someone's going to take the Sora, like, jumping around logo that they use for these AI-generated videos and put that onto something that they actually
did. That is actually real, right?
And they can say, oh, look, this isn't me doing this, there's the Sora AI logo.
Wow, I never thought of that.
That people haven't thought of, because I remember I saw the logo and I'm thinking, all I have to do is go in there, tell it, generate me a black screen. I can take that into the video editing software that I use and key out the black.
Right.
All of a sudden, this 7-second video of me doing something stupid, nope, that's not me, that's AI.
Right.
I didn't do that. I would never do something like that.
Wow, what a great point to bring up. I'm glad you brought that up because, you might have just, like, thought that, like, you gave people the idea, but you're also
probably not the only one.
Oh, you're like, probably not the only one that thought it.
Thought of this.
Absolutely.
I see you guys out there. You're all thinking this stuff.
Yeah, but not just that, though. You kind of just gave people the awareness of it too, that could possibly happen, and that is something that people should look out for too. So let's talk about AI more as far as stuff they have done, like manipulating actual motion pictures. For instance, The Wizard of Oz at the Sphere.
Right, where they expanded the aspect ratio to
correct, and they majorly used AI with it.
So I did not see what it looked like.
Yeah,
but I do agree that Okay, so not agree. It's an interesting area because could you hire someone to sort of fill out those margins in missing aspect ratio? You absolutely could.
Yeah.
But at the same time, AI can analyze it in a very specific way to where it's a seamless blend.
Yes.
Not to say that a VFX artist couldn't do that, but VFX artists are going to take more time.
Yes.
And it's a very interesting balance that you have to strike. I was actually in Vegas recently, so I saw the size of the sphere. I cannot imagine watching a movie inside of that sphere.
Yeah.
I feel like as much as look, Wizard of Oz, classic, love it.
Yeah.
Not crazy about musicals, but Wizard of Oz is one of the few exceptions I'll give it.
I agree with you.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I cannot imagine watching a movie like that, essentially like this, and just everything. I feel like it's a bit much. I feel like that's a bit much.
There's definitely the effort of having to look around for sure. And, generally, maybe because it's not as traditional, but you don't want to do that. You just want to be, relaxed.
Yeah,
just watching the screen.
Give me the reclined seat. If I'm feeling fancy, they have an Alamo Draft House on Staten Island.
Yeah,
so
right.
Get dinner with it that costs 100 times more than it ever should. But look, I've seen a couple of movies in those theaters. That's a good experience. I don't think I can have that same experience in the Sphere.
Yes, 100%. But you said the key word there. It is an experience for sure.
100%.
And now I'm hearing, because it made a lot of money. Like, people are going to see this.
Really?
My God!
Follow up on it
it's probably the most profitable thing that the Sphere has ever hosted there.
I can understand that because not everyone's going to go to the same concert. But
Exactly.
Wizard of Oz is such a universal experience for many people that everyone's going to want a chance.
You got it. And now I'm hearing that I forgot who owns Sphere. So someone. I might think of it later.
Like a movie studio? Or?
Not even a movie studio. It's the person that's partnering up with the movie studio that brought Wizard of Oz. I don't know if Warner Brothers owns Wizard of Oz. They might.
I forget who owns it.
But I bring up Warner Brothers because now they're talking to Warner Brothers and Disney because they want to bring in now the classic Star Wars to the Sphere.
Interesting.
And they want to bring so they're talking to Disney about that. They're talking to Warner Brothers about the old Harry Potter movies as well to bring onto there.
What do you mean old Harry Potter movies, man? I was there. Don't say that, man.
Yeah, dude.
It hurts. It
hurts. I get what you're saying.
It burns my soul, yeah.
Little side note, what do you think about this new show?
I think they should have left it alone.
Agreed.
I understand that people want to separate J.K. Rowling from Harry Potter given her recent comments. I'm not going to get into that. I don't like getting into stuff.
Right, me neither.
Anything.
Yeah.
But I think they're trying a little too hard to do it.
Yeah.
I think they're trying too hard to separate her from it, and I'm not... I'll give the show a chance. My rule with any TV show is I give it 3 episodes.
Yeah.
If it doesn't hook me, I'm going to stop watching it.
Okay, so that's a fair assessment there for that.
So I'll give the show an honest shot.
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot, and if it hooks me, I'll be like, all right, I'm on board. But the hardest part for me, at least, is going to be separating it from the original, because we grew up with those movies.
Exactly.
The first movie came out when we were, 6?
Something like that.
And then it ended when we were, juniors or seniors in high school?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
No, that it is insane. One, they are instant classics.
100%.
Instant classics. And part of me thinks it's still too soon.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I
feel like, it's been 20 years, I guess, but I still, maybe another 20, maybe 40 years.
Something like that, right? Because you want to know what that property, those movies feel like, is that it should just not be touched.
Yeah. You also get to sort of see the evolution in filmmaking and visual effects. Go back and watch the first movie and look at what Voldemort looks like in that. Versus even the fourth movie, which is only a handful of years later, it's such a jump.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
It was as someone who always wanted to be a part of filmmaking, it's kind of fun to watch those movies in order just to see, okay, the VFX look not so great here because the troll in the girls' bathroom looks like Shrek. That's not great. But then you get to the third or fourth movie where you have the hippogriff in the third movie and then the dragon in the fourth movie. Yeah. It's like, wow, this is actually starting to get real good.
Yes, and the progress it's made.
It's fantastic to watch them from that perspective.
I would even give another example of seeing Thanos for the first time in the first Avengers to what he looks like in Infinity War.
That's true, yeah.
First off, he looks somewhat totally different.
I think it was a different actor the first time, too. Before Josh Brolin.
You think so? Because I think he was casted right there and then.
I'll have to double check.
I would need to double check that too.
But they did change his, you saw his skin sort of shift between that to Guardians to Infinity War.
Yeah.
Shift in
especially the color, the tone, the color tone too. Yeah, that was a big aspect of it also.
They wanted them to be comic accurate at first and then realized they kind of had to dial it back.
Yes, without a doubt. What do you think? Because this is not a theory of mine. It's kind of just like what I notice as far as VFX works.
Okay.
I think some stuff, like there's too much VFX being put into certain things where it doesn't look, like in major movies, doesn't look great. So for an example, I'm trying to think of a good example here, but oh man.
Well,
I should have had one at hand.
Since we talked about it, I'll bring it up again. The Flash movie. I don't think the VFX in the Flash movie VFX looks like what the Flash TV show did back in his first season.
Where
you can tell how, like, what was it? In the first scene where he's rescuing the babies falling out of the hospital.
Right.
Those babies looked so morphed and fake.
Without a doubt.
And I remember the director came out and they said, okay, look, when he's running that fast, things are distorted. It's like, you know what? I can sort of forgive that.
Yeah.
I can understand it from the artistic point of view, but you also have to take the audience's perspective.
The general audience, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even though the Flash TV show had its gripes in its earlier seasons, the VFX, you sort of forgave it a little bit.
Without a doubt.
In the second season, there's the episode where he goes back in time and encounters his past self.
Yeah.
And you can tell, like, clearly this is done in, like, Unreal Engine 4.
Which is
fine, but at the same time, the rest of the environment sort of matched, so you didn't notice it as much.
Right. Exactly.
With this movie, what I think it is people equate VFX to success.
Yes. They depend on it too much, I feel like.
And that's one of the things my directing teacher told us a lot of. Granted, none of the stuff I've used required massive visual effects, but he always said you do as much in the pre-production phase as possible. That way, on set, you get everything you need, and then post is mostly touch-ups for visuals.
Yes.
But for VFX, it's going to be a little bit harder, especially with technology changing. If the color doesn't match exactly what you think it's going to look like in your previews, it's going to look totally different in post. Like, there's a number of factors that go into it, which is why VFX can sometimes change on the fly.
Yeah.
But no, I think what it is people equate VFX to success, and that's why they sort of rush it. And that's another thing is oftentimes they'll rush the VFX artists to get the film out by a certain date. And if they had more time to work on those effects, then yeah, it could look more realistic. But because there's a deadline that they have to meet, they have to get it to a workable point, not necessarily a visually appealing point.
Great point to bring up, because that was a big problem with the Marvel Studios.
Yes.
And there was a lot of complaints from the VFX team. I'm pretty sure they unionized as well, to be honest with you.
So, yes,
they unionized because there was just too much work loaded on them with these really short, like, timelines to get it done and whatnot.
Did you see, what was it, Captain America Brave New World?
Yeah.
You can tell when it's a green screen.
Oh my God,
like,
yeah.
It's so obvious. And I don't blame the actors. I don't, like, there's...
Oh, you can't.
There are people to blame. And look, I give the actors props, which, what was it? There's that famous picture of Ian McKellen on the set of The Hobbit, where he's sitting in, I don't know if you've seen this one, where he's sitting effectively in just a green room and is talking to tennis balls. And he's like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, I want to act. I want to do things. And thankfully, the green/blue stages are sort of being phased out. I don't know if you saw with the new Superman movie that came out, there were some behind the scenes of David Cornsweet, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name.
It is, yeah. Flying, right?
Yeah, flying, but they have like a visual studio, so like he can actually see the Arctic area that he's flying through in front of him.
I did see that.
And actors are like, let's do more of this. And I know Ahsoka did that. I think they're called virtual stages. I believe that's the term.
Mm-hmm.
But Ahsoka did a lot of that where you can sort of see a lot of the background, and then they have practicals in the foreground for them to actively interact with.
Yeah.
And I spoke to a couple actors that I've worked with in the past that have done some of these sets, and they said, no, those are the better sets because you can at least, like, okay, I know that's a rock. I don't have to pretend it's a rock. Like, I can actually interact with it the way I would naturally and not have to sort of guess as to what it's going to look like in post.
Without a doubt. I think it's all work in progress as far as VFX. Like, still.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what works best as far as the actors, even for the editors, for maybe reference points when they're editing and whatnot, too. And yeah, I think it's all work in progress. But I will say this is a point that I'll bring up back to the Flash too.
Sure.
As far as always, I'm always in favor of practical effects over VFX, 100%. Right? I'm glad we agree on that.
If it can be done on set, I want to try to do it on set.
1,000%. And to go back to the Flash, his suit, man. His suit, it looks so fake. And then right after that movie, Blue Beetle came out, and that was a practical suit, and it looked 10 times better.
Exactly.
And I was like, shouldn't you have done that for like the Flash is a bigger character? Like
the Flash was also surrounded in controversy given Ezra Miller's behavior in public.
Correct.
That movie was cursed.
Doomed.
Like, people were jokingly saying that Ezra Miller was just the Reverse Flash.
Yeah.
To ruin his own movie. Like there was so many jokes.
That's
about
a good
that
one.
At the time, like
that's a good one.
I've read a lot of the comics for Flash. Like that is something he would do. Like I'm not sure if you're familiar with Flash Rebirth.
I know Flashpoint Paradox, not Flash Rebirth.
So this is the comic that came before that. This is where Barry learns the Reverse Flash is responsible for his mother's death. But this is also where you learn that every bad thing in Barry's life is because of Thawne. He's like, remember that time your dog ran away? I opened the gate. Remember that time you fell down the stairs? I'm the one that pushed you. Like literally everything in this man's life. Like he's just 100% hater.
Yeah.
But that set of panels just led to people going, you want to know why the Flash movie's so bad? That was me. There was just so many things.
That's actually great. I never heard that one before, but that's phenomenal.
That was a funky time to be on the internet.
It was. Yeah, to quickly continue on Ezra Miller for a second, like I actually do I think he's doing much better now. Yes. But I actually did feel bad for him during that time because obviously he was going through something. I mean, it does not excuse his actions.
No, not at all.
But yeah, he definitely had some mental stuff going on. But I'll tell you what, that movie, not just because of that, but just because of the state of the DCEU and everything like that, that movie was so doomed, dude. So doomed.
I think it's funny that they let that movie come out despite the controversy and shelved Batgirl.
I know.
Which I'm still a little salty about that.
I am too. Michael Keaton was going to be back in that again as Batman as well.
He was going to be training Batgirl, which I think is a lot more accurate representation of his character versus just effectively a cameo in the Flash movie. Right. I do like in the context of the movie they effectively banished him to the George Clooney Batman movie at the end of it.
Yes.
That did make me laugh.
Me too.
Because I saw the movie in the theaters. I'm like, okay,
me too. Yeah.
Like, I got to see this in theaters because I know this is gonna. If watching a movie at home versus theaters are always going to be a better experience.
Without a doubt. We'll talk about that too.
We'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that.
I know, dude. And I'll tell you what. Did you see the animated Flashpoint Paradox movie?
Yes, I saw. I have the comic. I've seen the movie, and then the TV show did one episode of it in season 3, where they sort of did. They called it Flashpoint.
Yeah, right.
Which they should have done more of, but you know what? Season 3 was the start. Well, no, season 3 was the last time the Flash TV show was good.
Until the downfall
and then
of
it started kind of.
I guess fluctuate. Well, I did stop after season 3, so you would know more as far as that.
I stopped after the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover.
I heard that was terrible.
It was actually okay.
Wait, but then maybe that's not the one I'm thinking of. It was like kind of like universally said was like, oh, this crossover was awful.
I think it was season 3. Most people did not like the Dominators, the alien invasion.
Okay,
Most people didn't like that one. Then there was Crisis on Earth X, where they introduced the Nazi world.
Oh yeah.
That was interesting. Yeah. They had Elseworlds, which was where Barry and Oliver swapped lives, but no one else knew. So for that season specifically, they removed Grant Gustin's chin strap, so that way you could see Oliver's beard for that particular episode.
Ah, gotcha.
Which made the rest of the season just awkward to me.
Yeah.
But after that season, they did Crisis on Infinite Earths, which I thought was well done. It was almost like, was it a cameo fest? Absolutely.
Yeah. But was that where, little spoiler alert?
Yeah. I mean,
is this where?
So
okay, right.
Enough time
has passed. But is that where Oliver?
Yes.
It is. Okay.
So,
yeah.
In addition to that, though, they had a bunch of cameos, but they sort of tied into the story. So Brandon Routh, who plays the Atom came back as Superman.
I also know Smallville Superman.
Yes,
Clark is in there.
But he still played Clark. That was the funny thing, the way they wrote him. But I think the best one from that, both cameo-wise and story-wise, was they had Kevin Conroy on as Old Man Batman.
Oh, I do remember that.
Suit,
I saw clips of that.
It was... And I'm like, damn, like he's the bad guy now. Like this goes kind of hard.
Yeah, for sure.
I got to give that show props. Whereas the Flash movie treated the multiverse like a cameo fest, this one treated it like a plot device with a couple of cameos inserted, which I think was a better balance.
Better balance, but that's how any cameo,
any multiverse story
should go. Yeah. It should go that way. It should serve the story.
Exactly.
It should serve the story, and it should have, legitimate purpose,
That's something my directing teacher was huge on. If it doesn't follow the spine of your story, it should not be included.
Without a doubt. Which
I imagine for feature-length films is completely different than working in short films, but
But it's like the same difference, right?
But you can watch a feature-length movie and say, okay, I can tell you every single one of these scenes belong.
Yes, right.
Whereas sometimes you watch a movie, you're like, hey, those 5 minutes weren't needed, or that was just purely exposition dialogue. Like,
right.
Everyone's a critic, right?
Everyone is a critic, man. It's true. It's true. All right, so we're circling back to your work now. It kind of happens all the time, but I'm having a great conversation with you, man. Great. So what would you say one of the biggest lessons you learned when you were at school that you really kept with you and you use towards, like, you know, your profession now, basically?
When you establish good connections, always keep up with them. That, like, networking is huge, and one of the things with my final project, my thesis film, which you can watch now. It's actually on my website since the film festival circuit for it has ended.
Yeah.
I wanted to get into Tribeca, but at my level, I have a 0.04% chance.
Whoa.
But I still submitted to other festivals.
Of course, as you should.
Try to, spread myself out there, give myself a little bit of recognition.
Yeah.
As much as it is about the art, I do want to try to get further in this industry.
Absolutely.
Ways you do that.
Yeah.
But the people that I work with on that set, like I met the camera guy, Austin. I met him on a project I did, summer of 22. Yeah, summer of 22. This was summer of 23 when we shot. So a year later, I called him up. I'm like, hey, I'm doing this thing. I worked with you last time. You had a great eye for everything. You knew exactly where the lights had to go. Give me a call. We'll talk about it. And then I sent him my pitch deck, and he was on board for it.
Cool.
So he hooked me up. I still paid him. You always, even if they're your friends, you always pay your creative friends.
Of course. Yeah.
Favors come here and there, obviously, but you can't obviously always do that.
But you gotta respect. You just gotta respect
exactly.
that, right? Yeah.
And him and I worked out something. It was great.
Good.
And from there, it was a lot of the other crew members that I've been a part of from my other classes, where I've heard stuff about them through the grapevine. It's like, hey, this person's reliable as a grip. This person's reliable as a sound guy.
Yeah.
And I just assembled my crew that way, and I still keep in touch with a lot of these guys. And on the last couple of projects I was on, a few of those same crew members were part of that crew. Mm-hmm. So we sort of got to reconnect. It's like, oh, hey, you know this guy? So we would sort of vouch for each other on set.
Absolutely.
When we're meeting with the director, or like at the rap party, we're all talking. It's like, oh, how long have you guys known each other? And then we go into our stories about taking classes in NIFA, being on each other's sets, and sort of both validating each other, but not lying, obviously. Like,
right.
One of the things that our producing teacher told us, and he's a wonderful guy, he's actually gotten me on the sets that I've been a part of so far.
Nice.
Was when you recommend somebody, make sure that they are set for that role, because if you put your foot in your mouth, it's going to put a damper on your reputation.
Absolutely, it will.
Because they're not going to trust, okay, does this person really know someone that can do this?
Yes.
And I fully admit, like, Rich has put his neck out there for me saying, hey, I know someone who does data management where I'm not fully versed in it, but he trusted that I had enough to at least get the jump off and be like, all right, we'll fix anything else from there, but I can do the job on set.
Yeah.
And, things, the organization, making sure that things are streamlined, those came later, but I was able to get it initially within the first day. There's always going to be kinks on the first day.
Without a doubt.
First day, second day, all the kinks have been ironed out. By day 3, I'm at 100%. But thankfully, with everything that I've learned up to this point, usually by halfway through day 1, those kinks are gone, which is always good.
Always good. I'll agree with you. Connections is so important. I mean, not even just in field, just in everyday life, 100%. Every job. But I will say connections is a very amplified importance in this industry as well. For some people, it's the only way they get their foot in the door as far as this industry and whatnot. Especially someone that hasn't gone to school for it or have any, I don't want to say don't have any background in it, but maybe not as much experience as maybe someone else that's contending for the job and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
And school isn't a guarantee. Like, school doesn't mean you get the job inherently. School gives me more opportunities to create these sort of things and to start, it sort of helped me build my professional network.
Yes.
That's really what film school does. And if you want to go that route, I recommend it. But if you're also like, you know what, I just want to jump into the industry, there are ways to do that too. So, but it's all, at the end of the day, it all sort of comes back to networking.
Oh, 1,000%. Right. 100%. And I think also having a good sort of a portfolio and resume, making sure you're keeping all your work and everything like that, presenting it to the right people, or really anyone. I don't see how that could hurt either for the most part, unless you think otherwise.
So one thing I've told, one of the things I was told, I'm not sure how true this is if you have business cards, don't hand them out like they're candy. Only hand them to like a handful of people. Or it's like if someone gives you one, you give them yours in return.
Okay, right.
So I mean, granted, like you've seen, I have two Instagrams. I have my personal one, which is my family pictures, my vacations, my goofy stuff, and then my professional one, which has a link to my website.
Yes.
And that's where I sort of advertise, hey, these are the projects I've done data management for. These are the things that I've made both for others and for myself.
Yes.
And, here's my resume, here's my contact information. So everything up there is present. And anyone who asks for it, I send them a link. It's like, hey, let me see your portfolio. I have the link on standby. I send it to them immediately.
Yes, there you go. That's the best way to do it, I would say.
Yeah, I always keep your portfolio tabbed.
Yeah.
Or at least in like your bookmarks bar or something, because then you can just hotkey it real quick.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, I saw you, speaking of Instagram and whatnot,
Yes.
I recently saw you post some pictures at, was it New York Comic Con, or was that some sort of convention I saw you at?
Yes, so a friend of mine cosplays as Knuckles the Echidna from Sonic the Hedgehog.
Awesome,
and he
love
has
Sonic.
a massive Master Emerald with a speaker in it.
No way.
Swear to God. And he's been going to a couple of these. So last year he called me and said, hey, I'm doing the Sonic fan meetup. We want a professional photographer there, and I have a Sony Alpha 7 III.
Yeah.
Just to, I've done it for a couple of pickup shots, but I figure as much as I want to be on set, I understand, okay, I need to do stuff that other people want too.
Absolutely.
So I need to do the editing. I need to do the camera work. So I invested in the camera. I invested in some lenses.
Yeah.
And he trusted me. He said, look, there's only a one-time thing. We'll see how this works. I got the pictures of the event. I got some candids of everyone interacting. And then he called me up again this year and said, hey, we're doing it again.
Oh,
but
there
this
you go.
time, he wanted me to come for the whole weekend and effectively act as his personal photographer.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
So I did that, did some videos for him, and his girlfriend hosted a K-pop Demon Hunters event.
Nice.
Like fan meetup. So it's like, okay, all the Roomies, all the Miras, all the Zoes. Like,
Yeah.
That's sort of how they run these things. And she actually hired me for that too. Said, hey, you did such a good job. And also, I know somebody who might be able to get some of these photos and videos into the marketing for next year.
Oh, that would be
Can
amazing
we
too.
do some video stuff? So I have a couple of videos of like, I did something for Sonic. Well, it's fun about the Sonic one. So for the K-pop Demon Hunters one, I did what I did was I had the cosplayer stand here, and then I walked in a quarter circle around them, and then I just boomeranged the video. And then when I got back to this point, I snapped to the other cosplayer, and then just sort of did it to
Very
the beat.
cool. Nice, like, transitional cut to it and whatnot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I did it to the beat of Golden, since that's still top of the charts, I think.
Yeah.
Which
Phenomenal song.
think,
I like the song.
I told you my thoughts on musicals. That movie got me, and I'm sitting here.
There you go.
But it's bopping my head in the car. It's like, that's stuck in my head. It's got me.
But that's awesome though.
But
And tell me how that. So you've done that twice now.
This has been my second year, yeah. So I'm hoping that this becomes a normal thing. And this year, I do have some actors in my portfolio now because the voice actors from the Sonic Adventure 2 era of Sonic were present. So Sonic and Knuckles from that era, Silver from 2006, and Amy from 2006 actually crashed our fan meetup.
That's
and
awesome.
I got a warning of it, so I changed it from all my photo settings. I switched it to video, changed everything so that it would look smooth.
Yeah.
And I got them coming in, and granted, I didn't hook up the microphone because I had like 10 seconds to shift.
Sure.
So now, again, learning from past experiences, I'm now going to get something that can have my camera flash and the microphone on the camera at the same time.
Yeah.
So if I need to switch, I just have to change a couple of settings in camera versus switching the lens off, getting the mic up.
Yep.
So again, learn from your past experiences.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, that was a real fun time, and we got to create something magical for a lot of fans of the Sonic series.
That's amazing.
Which I take pride in, and I'm
as you should.
It was a very wholesome moment, and it was a nice break from just because when I'm on set or when I'm cameras in my hand, I'm very militant. My friend, one of the events that his girlfriend did, she did a networking thing, which is where I did some networking there, but also did some behind the scenes for her.
Yeah.
I was trying to get a shot, so I sort of sprinted around the crowd, and my friend saw me with the camera. He's like, you cut that corner like you were going to hurt somebody. When I'm in work mode, it's just everything else sort of disconnects from
right.
me. So during that moment where the actors came and everyone was trying to get pictures with them in some moments, it was nice for me to sort of breathe and enjoy the moment.
Oh, 1000%.
Because I'm more concerned with making sure everyone else is happy. I'm not really concerned with my own happiness at that moment.
Oh, of course. You're on a mission there.
Comes from the job. That's where it comes from.
I feel you on many levels as far as that, my friend. So as far as photography, you got some practice in that too, it seems like also, huh?
I do. My sister was actually my first client, quote unquote, so she cosplays Sephiroth from Final Fantasy.
Okay, very cool,
and
yeah.
We found it on eBay for $70, an actual 6-foot samurai sword.
That's amazing.
So she wanted to get some pictures of it, so I bought my lights, I bought my camera, and we got some, her posing for that.
Yeah.
And then my friend wanted to promote her charity stream that I actually help with that every December. She does a charity stream for the Lamb Foundation.
Okay, very nice.
She was diagnosed with it back in, I believe, 2019, and she's been doing this every year as a way to both raise awareness and funds for it. We've actually raised $16,000 since 2019.
That's beautiful.
And
That's beautiful.
We keep doing it. We keep doing it every year. So every year we do more games. And I'll post about it on my Instagram so you guys can, come in and see that.
Yeah.
But she's like, hey, I want to do some promotional footage or promotional photos. So we got some pictures of her in her pink dress and her pink shirt. She had all of her lamb stuff with her. So we had a fun time with that. So we did some stuff for her. And then a few weeks ago in Philly, I was a PA / behind the scenes photographer on a short documentary.
Very
so
cool.
Now I have that under my resume.
Yeah.
And is it hard to get my foot in the door? Absolutely. But she said, hey, if you want to do some behind the scenes photos for me, I'd be happy to do it. So I bought my camera gear and I got to work and she loved what she saw. So, I'm hoping, again, just always doing your best at your job is one of the ways you can keep going in this industry. And even 100%. When things seem bleak, you got to remember that you're pushing your hardest and people do truly appreciate what you want to do.
Without a doubt, they respect it, appreciate it. And, at the end of the day, if you're going to give 100% to others as far as making them look good in a picture or anything of that nature, it's a trusting factor also.
Yes.
People will gravitate towards that.
With candidates, obviously, you have to be careful. You will get the embarrassing photo, but that's not the stuff you send them.
Of course.
Let me rephrase. So for this shoot, I sent her everything, and I said, pick your favorites. Those will be the ones I edit.
Yeah, there you go.
Even though these pictures, there's a minuscule difference between the two, you might see something in one versus the other that you want to have presented.
Yeah.
And that's what I'll work on.
I think that's a great way of doing it. And as far as lighting, tell me about your little process or procedure. I guess it depends on the setting, right? But it's majorly important.
Oh, yeah. No, it depends on the setting. You don't want it to look, like a TV news studio where it's fun. I'm looking at yours right here. You have the one light over here. And you have a little bit of shadow on the side.
I always do. Yes, very good.
So lighting itself is an art form. It's not just put the lights here. It's like, okay, well, we need to light the background. Otherwise, you're looking into abyss, but you don't want there to just be a random light. So let's put a lamp back there. So even if the light isn't necessarily coming from that lamp, it gives the idea of, okay, to the person watching it, that tiny bit of light is lighting the whole basement.
Exactly.
So there are some nuances to it where lighting effectively becomes a part of the set, which I find very fascinating.
It is fascinating because it's all about balance when it comes to that.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been on set for my cousin's independent film, The Challenger. We were outside of a bodega in New York. They were filming a bunch of TVs that was outside of it, and a crowd was around watching it. It was the scene was happening at night,
right?
But they spent all day, and this first time on a set, first time learning stuff of this nature.
Oh yeah,
they spent all day on lighting and setting up just for this one scene, right? Mm-hmm. That when I saw the final product, the movie, barely in the final cut, but it appeared in there, but still lighting and prep, any sort of prep is incredibly long, could be incredibly long.
Absolutely. And remember how I said earlier, you want to do as much on set as possible, that poses just touch-ups.
Yes, correct, right.
So the software I use is DaVinci Resolve Studio. Compared to Avid or Premiere, which are both subscription-based, this is a one-time payment, and then it's yours for life.
Oh, is
with
it?
The upgrade.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So
okay.
when I bought it was DaVinci 17. I believe now they're on their 20th version.
Okay.
Which is fantastic. This is where a lot of their new tools came in that are AI haze. So we can add haze artificially to it. We can, some of their relighting tools where if a person isn't necessarily lit correctly, it'll analyze them in 3D space, and you can place an artificial light to sort of relight the darker side of their face if you want to bring it up a little bit.
Okay.
So there are some tools in there that come in handy. You can absolutely spend hours in post working on the relighting, but then that affects the render times because AI tools will inherently slow it down.
1000%, yeah.
But you always, with lighting, I've learned you always want to do it on set.
Okay. What else, the versus of using AI or editing tools versus practical, could you list down a couple of things where it is much better to do it on set to prepare for than, say, editing, the side of editing?
So my directing teacher explained to us, there are 3 movies. There's the movie you write, the movie you shoot, and the movie you edit. So even though you go through all these hours upon hours of lighting on set, you're lighting to keep things balanced.
Yeah.
So unless you're shooting for a specific mood, like The Matrix, where you throw a green on one of your lights, and even then you do some of that in post, when you're on set, at least at my level, you kind of want to sort of shoot neutral, and then maybe a little bit of warmth or a little bit of cold, So that way in post, when you amplify it, it's not as obvious that it was all done in post.
Yes, right, okay.
But I have had moments where it's like, okay, the actor's skin tone is a little off, which granted, you do all of that in camera, you try your best to get it on set.
Yeah.
But I want their skin tone to look more natural because sometimes it'll look a little too pale.
Sure.
A little too cold, so you have to warm it up a little bit.
Okay.
So there are things that you can do in post to sort of compensate for that.
Mm.
And I had to do that for the skin tone. One time the face for the actor was a little bit darker. At least to me, granted in camera it might have looked different, but in my opinion the background and the actor were a little too similar in terms of lighting.
Yeah.
So I darkened the background slightly. You don't necessarily always bump up the actor, because then noise can develop and then it becomes more obvious that something was done.
Sure. Okay.
So it is a little bit of a... Did I increase their brightness a little bit? Absolutely, but I had to sort of darken the background first, otherwise it'd be way too obvious that I cranked him up a lot more.
It's all about the balance with it.
It's an interesting game to play, and I find excitement in the challenges of like, okay, I need to relight this particular piece. How can I do that without it looking completely fake?
Without a doubt, right.
Yeah.
And you know that, and as far as the editing side of it too, very tedious as well. A lot of time could be spent on the littlest thing as far as that too. But I would say, you know, it comes with the enjoyment. You have to enjoy. You have to enjoy it.
The passion. So there's something I've learned. Is it good to be passionate about the arts? Absolutely, because that passion will keep you going when things get monotonous.
Yeah.
And like right now, I'm telling you, like I was telling you earlier before we hit record, I'm constantly looking for work. I'm on LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, Staff Me Up, Production Hub. I'm on all these sites throwing myself out there, and it does get disheartening.
Sure.
To just see those rejection emails and like, hey, this position's been filled.
Yeah.
But that passion keeps me going because I know it's going to pay off.
Without a doubt,
I know that
right.
I still have it.
Yeah.
And to your thing about, you're spending hours editing, I spent, no joke, an hour. There was a scene where the guy's girlfriend calls him. He's with his friend.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, you want to come over right now? And I spent an hour debating when to cut back to him because he's looking down at they're doing a D&D sheet.
Yeah.
He looks up and looks at the actor. And I said, like, what is it? Do you want to come over right now? Then it cuts to him. Then it looks up. So then I decided the best time to cut was right between, do you want to come over? Cuts back to him right now, and then he looks up. Like, even like those little bits of pacing.
Playing around with it, right?
You're going to spend so much time playing with something that most people aren't going to notice.
Yeah,
but
right.
You're going to see it, which is important because I remember, so after we do all the stuff with the projects, we screen our films to everybody. We invite friends, we invite some family. Like, it becomes a whole big thing at the campus.
Yeah, okay, cool.
And I still, when I rewatch the movie, I see things that I could have shot differently, not necessarily things that I could have edited differently.
Okay, sure, okay.
Because you're always going to be your worst critic. You're only going to see the flaws and mistakes where everyone else is going to see the finished product. And hearing people's compliments and like their thoughts on the movie, and like you said earlier, their constructive criticism, that it calms me a little bit to know, okay, I did make the right call in these positions.
For sure.
And it's very comforting to know that everyone's sort of, hate to sound egocentric, it's comforting to know people agree with your decisions as a creative.
Absolutely, yes.
When you put yourself out there creatively, you're very vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that reassurance is very calming.
1,000%. But it's also like the risk-reward thing,
Exactly.
right? Like, you're putting yourself out there. It is absolutely a great feeling that it was like, wow, that, great decisions you made with this shot, or even just overall liking your project, right? Like, yeah.
Look, you don't have to like my product. I'm going to be honest. Like, look, if you don't like it, that's your thing. I put my effort into this, and
that's it, right?
Enjoy it. Yeah.
Film is subjective.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it too.
Amen.
That is the beauty of it too. As far as like upcoming things that you would love to do that say you haven't done yet in this field, could you list some of those down?
I definitely want to work on a non-independent project.
Okay.
I would argue that the most recent thing I did for that was actually on a whim. I did data management for the Preakness 150.
The Preakness 150?
So it's a horse race, I believe, is part of the Kentucky Derby.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
it's held in Baltimore.
Ah.
And they had a social media team on site, and they said, hey, we need somebody to actively back stuff up from the cameras that are here, and then hand one drive off to the editor for video, one drive off to the photos, because we're going to be uploading to their social media pages in real time.
Okay.
So the crackdown on that was insane. The time management issues were a little crazy because you said, what happens when you run into a problem on set. One of the cameras their cards were a little bit slower than the rest of them. So when I put them in, everything stopped.
Oh
I
my
had to wait
God.
for that person's card to back up.
Yep.
So I would always put their card first and then get the rest of them done.
Yes.
And start handing them off to everyone else. So that was definitely the biggest thing for me currently.
Yeah.
I definitely want to be a part of a production that's either, I mean, every filmmaker says this. You want to be a part of, like, you know, Warner Brothers. You want to be a part of Lucasfilm, Skydance, even Netflix. Like, with the Netflix studio coming to Fort Worth soon.
Yes.
I want to be a part of those sets, especially, just because even if I'm a small role like the DIT or a production assistant, which I'm not knocking production assistants at all. I have met some wonderful PAs. They run the set. They keep morale high.
Yeah.
And I cannot thank them enough for what they do. I've made friends with a good bunch of these PAs. They are all very lovely people.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly hope that they get the best too. But we're all struggling right now because my one friend, she posts something saying, hey, I know New Jersey has these tax credits, but is everyone else in this field having trouble finding work? And I reached out. I said, it's because I think they're bringing their crew with them. And I'll see last minute listings for a PA or even my position the day before it's supposed to start. Which to me spells that person quit or walked off and they need a replacement.
Yes.
So even though New Jersey does have these tax credits, it's still hard for people from New Jersey, for locals especially, to find work. And it's a little disheartening, and honestly, I'm a little peeved about it, if I'm going to be completely honest.
I don't blame you.
But at the same time, I get it because you want to work with people that you trust.
Absolutely.
So it's not easy. I can understand the issue the concern that some of these people have coming here.
What do you think the effect of this new Netflix studio is going to have on, say, a situation or problem that you just said? Do you think that'll change the situation? Maybe the culture, the just the interest in wanting to be working in the field and hiring people?
I feel that once the hub is officially established, because right now it's just if you want to film in Jersey, you can. We'll give you a huge tax credit.
Yeah.
Once there's a Netflix studio, it sort of sets an anchor here. I think that's when we'll start seeing the more, okay, now because we're stationed here, we're going to be shooting this project. We need X amount of crew members. Let's put out feelers locally so we don't have to worry about accommodations.
Of course, yeah.
So I feel that once the Netflix studio is fully built, fingers crossed, is when we're going to start seeing more locally produced and crewed sets.
Yeah.
I also hope we get to see more of New Jersey on Netflix personally.
That's
just my undying Jersey pride.
Oh no, same here. I would love to see that, seeing places I actually know and stuff like that. I mean, I thought it was great that I think it came out this upcoming weekend, the Springsteen movie. They filmed in Freehold Borough over here too. Like, I mean, as they should, right? Springsteen's from here and everything like that. I've been noticing a little rise as far as filming going on over here and everything like that, production going on over here. And I'm ecstatic about this Netflix studio. Once it is done and everything.
Let's say, what is it, like 2027, 28 is their production?
I believe you're right on that. But I'll tell you what, I think we could see a shift in a lot of jobs opening up in the field for New Jersey, and the selfishness in me. Like, I'm sure it's going to pique interest of others to get into the field, but I encourage you, but at the same time, don't try to take a gig away from me. You know what I mean? It's more of a joke.
But there's some real concern to that, because as much as you want to take all the PAs I've worked with, all the grips I've worked with, all the gaffers I've worked with, as much as I want to take them all with me, I risk putting someone else out of a job.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's the thing. It's like, if I'm ever on a set, it's like, hey, do you know somebody? I'll recommend one or two people at most.
Right.
So it's going to be a rough thing, and thankfully, I guess for our perspective at least, for our experience will put them ahead of these new kids.
Without a doubt.
So that will help a little bit, but just because you have more experience doesn't inherently mean you're going to get it.
Oh no, nothing's really guaranteed in this field until you got it. Until you got the position, right?
Period.
And then even once you have a certain position, things could change too. Say in like a director's position, for instance, you don't see eye and eye with the story down the line or whatnot. If the story changes during filming, you could walk off, whatever, stuff like that.
Yep.
Things could just change in an instant.
The filmmaking industry is very volatile, but that's another reason why I sort of pivoted toward data management, is because every set's going to need that. Every set is going to need somebody to ensure that these files are backed up safely and properly.
Well, which is smart. It's smart. Yeah. let's talk about another thing before we. I want to hear about, if you don't mind saying, like, future endeavors and whatnot, or goals per se. But before we get into that,
Sure.
to close it off, I want to know your thought on the movie theater experience. We briefly mentioned it before. But do you see the movie theater experience being a dying breed, and why, if so?
So I feel that with movie theaters specifically, COVID kind of messed it up.
Agreed.
Because everyone got so used to watching movies in their home.
Yep.
And a lot of courtesies went out the window with that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like, I remember my sister and I, the first movie we saw, which is early 2021, because theaters are finally open again, was Mortal Kombat.
Oh, okay.
Objectively ridiculous movie,
Yeah.
but I enjoyed it so much. I'm going to see the second one when that comes out.
It looks good, in my opinion.
Like,
Yeah, it looks fun.
Just because a movie's fun doesn't, like, just because a movie's not great doesn't mean you can't have fun.
Oh, it doesn't have to be pristine, right?
No, not everything. We don't need Oppenheimer every week. We really don't.
Exactly. You're right. Love that movie too.
Oh no, fantastic.
Yeah.
But with that movie, it was just my sister and I were chilling, we're watching the movie, and there's people like talking the whole time on their phones.
Oh, really?
No, that makes me sound like a boomer when I say you're on your phone during the movie, but it's like you paid what, $20 to get the ticket, $20 for snacks, give or take. It's
Yeah.
like,
No,
it
it has become an expensive thing to do nowadays,
it
right?
is a very expensive day out sort of situation.
It doesn't help
I
its
feel for
case.
families. No. But I feel like we're starting to, the growing pain of that is starting to come to an end because I've seen less and less of it.
Yeah.
But it also depends on the movie you go to. Like, going to see Nosferatu versus going to see Minecraft, you're going to have two very different experiences in the theater.
Yeah.
And this hurt me a little bit. So my friend and I, we knew going in Minecraft was going to be a fun movie that is way beyond us in terms of, like, humor.
Yeah, same with me and my buddy, too.
It was very, like, Gen Z millennial coded, which is okay for us, but it was very... Some of the jokes didn't land for me personally.
Yeah, me neither.
But I remember my friend and I are in there, and we were the only two non-parent adults. Everyone else that was an adult in that theater was with their child.
Exactly,
And
right.
So, of course, I'm not going to have the quiet, interesting experience like I did with Nosferatu, where it was very quiet, very melodramatic, and then when it got scary, it got scary. With Minecraft, you're there, people are jumping out of their seats and throwing popcorn at the screen. At one point, security did get called. And
during your showing?
Yeah, during our showing, there were kids screaming at the screen when Jennifer Coolidge was on that date with the villager.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Security came and kicked like 6 kids out.
That was a huge, crazy trend, too, on TikTok. With the whole chicken jockey thing.
That was ridiculous.
Ridiculous, yeah.
But
yeah.
I have a feeling that movie theaters have started to bounce back a little bit.
Me
I know
too.
that they're starting to promote, like, what is it? Not $5 Tuesdays, but, like, they do have discounts during the week for some people.
So this is
does
AMC
help.
theaters.
Yeah, AMC
so
specifically, at least.
yes, and it used to be $5 Tuesdays, right? It is still discounted now, but now it's like $6 or $7 now, right? Like
I'll still
take that any day of the week too. You know what I mean? And I think the theaters themselves, the theater chains themselves, do really cool things now as far as like collectibles, like the popcorn buckets and everything. I'm a big fan of those too. I think it's an intriguing way to get people interested in going back to the theaters again and everything. But in my opinion, I don't think the theater experience or the interest in it will never be the same as it was.
No.
I don't think its popularity... Yeah, it's definitely shifted. I fear the popularity will never go back to what it was for that because of streaming. Talked about this on the last podcast that I had with Luke. Like, I think people are so judgy just by a trailer for a movie. Just being like, yeah, that looks interesting, but you know what? I'm going to wait for it to come out on streaming. And you know what? It's probably going to come out on streaming a month after it's in theaters. That's just how they do it now, unfortunately.
I disagree with that. I feel that films should... Well, it used to be like, 3 to 4 months after a film was done in theaters was when you'd see it on the show.
Yeah, it used to be like a 90-day period in theaters. At least. Yes, correct. Yeah.
No, and I'll admit, like, when I first saw the trailer for Weapons...
Yeah.
I was like, I'll wait for streaming, but then I heard some people talking about it, and I'm like... I gotta get out of this mindset. I'm gonna practice what I preach, and I went to see it. So happy that I did.
Me too. Yeah, I saw that in theaters as well. That was great.
And against my better judgment, because I saw The Substance after it came out of theaters.
Okay.
I decided to go see Together in theaters.
I wish I saw that.
I'm not one for body horror. I will say The Substance helped prepare me because I think that's as crazy as it could get.
Yeah.
But seeing Together in theaters, like I definitely felt more uneasy leaving the theater versus if I just watched it at home.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I think that's because it's dark, it's intimate, and you have all that sound around you.
All the sound loud, like, and you got no choice but to focus, like, unless you got like a bad crowd around you. You're focused on a movie, like you're kind of like forced to focus on the movie. You're immersed in it, I can
tell you the best theater experience I ever had.
Sure.
And it was pre-COVID, but it was during A Quiet Place, the first one. Yeah. Seeing that in theaters was such a shared experience because anytime somebody crunched too loud, anytime somebody coughed, you heard people in the theater shushing them because you felt so much tension during that movie.
Without a doubt.
And watching it at home didn't get that same effect. I still enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
But a movie like that had to be experienced in theaters.
Yes.
And this leads me to my next take. There's a movie that came out when I think it was while we were in high school or just after we left. That came out a little too soon. Because if it came out during COVID or just after COVID, I feel like it would have done better. Have you seen the movie Unfriended?
It sounds familiar. I want to say no, I have not seen it.
So it is a movie that entirely takes place on a Skype call. It is a horror movie on a Skype call where these friends get together on the anniversary of their friend's death, and a new person enters the call, and then very weird things start happening to everyone on the call, and it's believed to be the ghost of the person that died the year prior because everyone on this call was somehow involved in her death.
I remember seeing the trailer for it now. Okay.
And I feel that if that came out in 2022 versus 2014, I think when the first one came out, it would have done so much better.
Sure. Yeah.
I think because I watched it after during COVID, I rewatched it because I'm like, I got nothing to do. I'll watch this and the sequel that they did about the dark web. Both of those movies are good in a post-Zoom era.
Without a doubt.
Skype wasn't really as much as it was used back then. It wasn't as common as everything else. It
Agreed.
wasn't a household name.
No.
But yeah, I figured if we're gonna tie in movie experiences, I figure I'll do the inverse of some movies that could potentially work better at home versus in theater.
Oh, for sure. And there's no trash talk as far as the people that do judge it by a trailer too.
Never.
Cause like back to the pricing of tickets again. It's like, is this for me?
Is it worth it?
Is it worth it? If I'm not that interested in it, I'm not gonna force myself to go see it in theaters and spend that money. I will wait for it on a Hulu. Well, Hulu's soon to.
I have enough issues with streaming. How it's like if I want to watch something, if it's not on one of the 7 streaming services I already subscribe to, I have to pay an additional fee. And at that point, I might as well just go to the theater. Yeah. Which I think is why I started going back more. Is because of that, where if I can't find it on my stuff, it's like, oh, you can pay for it. It's like, what am I paying for all this for?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
1,000%. And you said you brought the keyword up before as far as the movie theater as well. It's also the experience. I think people have forgotten that it's an experience and how a movie could make you feel in the theaters as well. Mm-hmm. I have so many great memories in the movie theaters. Toy Story 3, when they're about to die in that burning furnace or whatever, that dumpster area. That Endgame, Infinity War, I am Iron Man in the first movie, No Way Home. Like, it's also about the crowd, and it's a unifying moment when everyone's cheering at the same thing and everything like that.
Such a fun moment.
100%. And I think people possibly might have forgotten those, like, that there are experiences like that for just movies, just by staring at a screen.
I do think it has started to come back. I know Marvel has been on the bell curve of it's so over, we're so back.
Right.
So you do get some of those moments there, but I think Superman gave me hope again.
Me too.
For the movie theater experience, because, spoiler alert for Superman 2025, when Krypto grabbed Lex Luthor and started just wailing on him in that office, people were cheering, saying, get him in my theater.
Yep.
Like, and
good.
I felt that. I'm like, oh, this movie really did just give me so much hope for people coming back to theaters again.
Yeah. I will agree with you because I think it did. That movie gave a good enough impact, I think, for people to get back into theaters.
Yes.
I think the box office for that movie did very well, right? Well. And I was very happy to hear that. I know there was a lot of pressure on that movie. It's the start of a new universe. I'm glad it has succeeded. Really didn't have any doubt with it being James Gunn.
No, not at all.
But
when it comes to ensemble pieces, he does a great job. That was the thing people were concerned about. It's like, what about Mr. Terrific, Green Lantern, all these other characters? Like, he did Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
And people cared about those guys by the end of the movie. I have faith in this one.
Yeah, exactly. Like, James Gunn could throw in any random... He could throw in Kite Man in his own movie, and I bet you...
He was referenced in Peacemaker.
Yeah, you're right. You know, like, they get just random characters.
Oh, yeah.
Out of the blue characters that people don't know. The general audience doesn't know. And make something great. Maybe not as box office successful, but it'll be received well.
Exactly.
You know, and to me, that's more important. Even though, obviously, for the studios, the box office is more important, right? Like his movie, The Suicide Squad, I thought it was phenomenal, but that box office was actually terrible.
Yeah. But that was also post-COVID. That was 2021.
Correct.
So
it didn't help its case.
I hate to make excuses for the billion-dollar company, but at the same time,
no, it's the truth.
You have to take. It's about optics, and you have to take these things into account.
Without a doubt, yeah. So yeah, I agree with you on a lot of instances, and I also agree that it is slowly but surely coming back.
Oh, yeah.
The movie-going experience too. A-List is amazing. I think it's the best thing AMC has ever done in a very long time. Meanwhile, all their other prices go up. It's like really discouraging for people to go.
I think that's part of why, not part of why, but that's sort of their incentive for people
to push to get the A-List thing.
There's a local theater on Staten Island that I go to, Atrium Cinema, and it's not AMC. It's like its own sort of little thing. That's usually where I go for my movies, because that is a local business. And unless I want to see something in IMAX,
right,
I'm just gonna go there because AMC has the IMAX screens. These guys have Apex something where it's the equivalent to IMAX.
Sure.
So I'll just go there. If I really want to see something, I'll just go to the local place.
Well, good for you for doing that, supporting the local business like that. I especially around here, I don't know a single local movie theater. It is just AMC, right?
AMC, and then there's a Cinemark up in Hazlitt. I
didn't even know about that, really. No. Well, there you go. Yeah.
But that's another name brand theater. That's not.
Yes.
That's not like a local place, and local places are hard to come by.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
You also have to compete with AMC, and people are going to go there for. It's like anything else. When you go to the store and you see 17 brands of toothpaste, you're going to pick the brand you recognize.
100%. 100%. Would you like to say some future, if you don't mind, without not revealing any secret projects or anything like that?
I mean, wish. I wish I had enough credit to where it's like, hey, do you want to tell us about these things? I wish I could.
Yeah, right.
It's not. I wish.
Joe, but you know what? I believe you're gonna get there one day with it, my man.
I appreciate it.
What are some future endeavors of yours that you would like to accomplish in this field?
So I do have a feature-length screenplay that I would like to one day see produced and come to fruition. So the premise of the film, it's called Press Start. It's about this kid it's effectively the Karate Kid but with fighting games.
Cool.
That's the idea I had, where this kid's brother runs out on him. He gets out his anger through games, and someone recognizes his talent, said, "Let me train you." But watching a video game on screen, unless you are into Twitch, isn't really a big thing.
Sure, right.
People aren't going to want to watch that. So my idea, from a production standpoint, would be shoot the fight scenes as if they were actual fight scenes, but then do something like Brave New World, where it's obviously a green screen that they're in front of to separate the virtual world from the real world.
Okay.
So you could have some fun with that.
Yeah.
But I wrote the script. Well, I did write it for a class. I'll fully admit that. It was for our feature screenplay 1 class.
Sure.
But I wrote it as if it was going to be something I would produce, because I do want to make that script one day. And I wrote it very much very tonally. Do you remember Minutemen on Disney Channel?
Yeah, yes, I do.
That's kind of the tone I'm going for with
it. Very cool.
That was one of my favorite Disney Channel movies, and this does, when you read the script, kind of comes off.
Gives that vibe, right?
Original vibe. But I loved those movies growing
up. Me too, dude.
As much as I loved Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, Disney always had the original movies that would just be like, hey, it's Friday, we're going to play Wendy Wu Homecoming Warrior, or the Wizards of Waverly Place movie. There were originals that grabbed me, and I think that's sort of what inspired me to write this, for something for teenage me to watch.
Very nice.
That's what I did.
Very cool. That's good. So you had good inspo, because those movies are fire. They're great. Yeah. Very nice. That's not
just our nostalgia talking, by the way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. By the way, I was a Cartoon Network kid, mostly.
Ed and Eddie was goated.
Ed and Eddie, Billy and Mandy, you name it, I watched all those shows. 100%. But I will say you're right about Disney Channel, original TV movies. And Nickelodeon had the best. It's a little competition, Nickelodeon, Disney, as far as the live action sitcoms, right?
Yeah.
But I think Nickelodeon takes the cake a little bit.
I think so. Yeah, I definitely remember watching more Drake and Josh than anything else.
Exactly. And then iCarly was pretty good too when it was on. But yeah, Joe, I had a pleasure talking to you today, my man.
It was so fun to talk to you, Frank. It's been way too long, even though it's been 2 years.
Yeah, listen, that is a long time,
honestly,
man.
yeah, no, that's long.
Much can happen in the course of 2 years.
Man, no, the last time we saw each other, it was about a year ago now, a little bit less than that. But yeah, I was still in school the last time we saw each other.
Oh, yes, correct.
I graduated in April. I graduated April of 24.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot has changed.
That's what I'm saying, man. And I congratulate you on graduating. I congratulate you on your efforts and putting your name out there.
Thank you.
And it seems you are getting great work because of those things. I wish you luck in your future endeavors, my man, and thank you. But before we go, I would like you to tell the audience where they could find you on social media for if they want to see any of your projects, if they want you for work and everything like that, you let them know.
All right. So if you guys want to find me, you can find me on Instagram as Joe Tobon Filmmaker, Tobon. I'm sure you can put like a thing up in post or something.
I will do that, and it'll also be in the description below too.
Perfect.
Yes.
So on that Instagram, I'm very active on there. I check it every day for messages, and through that Instagram, you can also find my website where you can see some of the work that I've done. I did sort of dabble in visual effects.
That very nice.
So, trying to expand my strength as an editor. So while I can do color, while I can do basic edits, if you want to, let's say, become the Flash, because that is something I did to myself, I can do that. It requires a little bit of coordination, but I have been dabbling in visual effects a little bit.
Very
the last
cool.
Couple of years.
Very nice. And that'll do it for us tonight, guys. I had a great conversation, and I'll be honest with you. I am so glad you were the last Spotlight interview I got to do. I have a great time doing these. You did great, my man. You did great. For you guys at home, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you did, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Also, follow us on all social media platforms at Loggin On. And until next time, peace out.
Number 3 is Scar.
Good one.
Yep. So in the newest movie, I haven't seen the new Lion King movie, but I heard it was pretty good. Like, I mean, I heard people enjoyed it, and good kids movie, whatever. But like, there's a story to be told about how Scar is yes, how he turns, how he has his turning moment of becoming from a good guy to a bad guy or whatever.
And I'm pretty sure it's said in the original Lion King too. Like, he was the one that was promised to be king. It's very much a Loki situation.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Which is makes it that much more crazy. And honestly, like, again, it's an intriguing story that I didn't think they'd ever touch Lion King, which was their golden goose.
I would have never
and
thought
then
a Mufasa movie
then they did.
Made, right?
And not only that, a Mufasa movie that is not too bad, which is interesting to me. You know what I mean? Apparently, probably bombed at the box office. Same thing too. But
I wish they did that movie, even if it was the same script, whatever, but like in the classic animated form.